Ethical theories. The ethical theories are theories that help us analyze ethical dilemmas. In order to be able to resolve ethical dilemmas, we have to first analyze them. There are two main categories. There are some others, but the two main categories of ethical theories are the consequentialist and the non-consequentialist theories. Consequentialists, they also called teleological. I don't care if you remember that. It comes from the word telos, a Greek word which means end result, i.e. the consequence. And the other group is called non-consequentialist or deontological, from the Greek word deon, which means the right thing to do. So, the consequentialist theories of teleological say that an act or a decision or an action is ethical, is moral, if it produces more positive than negative consequences. In fact, it's a bit stronger than that. It says that an action and decision and behavior is ethical if it is, from all the available choices, is the one that produces the most net positive consequences.
In the case with the train, the non-consequentialists would prefer to kill the one instead.
I didn't go there yet, but the consequentialist, in that case, the consequentialist in the case of the train will ask, first question, what are the options? If the options are to put the lever or not put the lever, okay? It says, okay, to choose between putting the lever and not putting the lever, which of the two will produce the greatest net positive consequences? If I don't put the lever, one person will be saved and 5 will be killed. So, what is the net consequence of this? What? 4 people will die. For the net. 5 minus 1. 1 will be saved, 5 will be died. 5 minus 1. 5 negative, 1 positive. 5 minus 1, 4. We have a net loss of 4 people. Right? The other option, it says, is to pull the lever. In that case, you will have 5 saved, 1 lost. What is the net consequence? 4 are saved. So, plus 4. If you do nothing, it's minus 4. Who is speaking? Plus 4. So you pull the lever. And exactly the same with pushing the man over there. Right? 1 will be lost, 5 will be saved, and so on. Okay? This is the consequences.
Theoretically speaking, there could be an ethical choice according to the consequentialist school of thinking, where the negative results are more than the positive results.
But it's the same case.
No. It's a different case, I'm saying.
Yes, say it again.
We are talking about the net effect.
Yes.
Say if we have a choice where the negatives are 5 to 1 and the other choice is 5 to 2.
Yes.
So you have a net effect of a negative choice from the one hand 4, on the other hand 3.
Negative to 3.
Yeah.
Okay. You choose the negative thing.
You know, you choose the
Of
negative.
course.
So in this case, it's a negative.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
If there is no better choice, it says you choose
The lesser of 2 evils.
yes, the lesser of the 2 evils. In fact, it says it's highly immoral if you choose the other one, because there was a better one. Better, with less damage. Okay? Now, the non-consequentialist of the ontological theory says, bullshit. Consequences don't count. I don't give a shit about the consequences. I have principles, I have values, and that's it. And I have a value that life is sacred, and you don't intervene in how the world goes. You don't intervene in fate. And you believe it's the fate of these people, I would do nothing, okay, to cause people to die. Now, if people die because happen to be in the right place, in the wrong place, at the wrong time, okay. But myself, I will not cause the death of any person. In that case, what you are going to do, you say, I will not pull the lever. I will not pull the lever because it is the fate of these people to die. I myself, by my own action, I will not cause the death of any person. That's my principle. That's it, finished. Don't bother me with all these things about 5 versus 4 and so on. So the only thing that matters is doing the right thing for the right reason, not the consequence.
Can this hold up in court somehow? Let's say the choice with the lever to pull or not. One side there's one person, the other side there's a billion people. Yeah. And because someone's a non-consequentialist, he chooses not to do anything. Mm-hmm. The 1 billion people die. And let's say the families of those billion people, let's say they want him to go to jail for his inactions. Can that stand in court somehow? That because he's a non-consequentialist, he doesn't do anything?
Look, no. But we do have people, for example, like the witness, Jehovah's Witness. They don't go to the army. They don't want to have an operation. If their kid, something happens to the kid in school, they will not give their permission to be saved, the blood transfusion or things like this. They will sue you if you do it to them. Okay. But we have to separate the legal from the ethical. Here we talk about the ethical, not necessarily the legal. What is legal and what is not. Now let me give you another example to understand the difference between the non-consequential and the consequential. Louis Pascal, a French chemist, scientist, always advocating that you should not believe in anything unless you have a proof. So, some reporter asked him, Mr. Pascal, Dr. Pascal, do you believe in God? He said, yes, of course. How come? Do you have a proof? No. Then, by your own argument, you shouldn't believe in God because you said you should not believe in anything that we don't have a proof. And Pascal answered to them that I arrived at the conclusion to believe in God scientifically by using the minimax algorithm. You know what is the minimax algorithm? Or minimax solution? I will explain. And it's a good algorithm that you should use when you face choices without probabilities, where face choices that are highly uncertain. Okay? So, his argument was the following. There are 2 possibilities. One, I believe in 2 choices. Believe in God or don't believe in God. And there are 2 states of the world. There is God or there is no God. So, if I believe there is God, and when I die and discover there is God, I will be rewarded. On the other hand, if I find out there is no God,
I will go there.
I haven't lost much. A few times to church, a bit of money to charity, I have some more, a few pure people, okay. It would have been good if I knew there was no God, not to do that, but I haven't lost a lot. I lost something, but not a lot. On the other hand, the other choice, I don't believe in God. Let's say I don't believe in God. When I die, let's say I discover there is no God. That's great. That's the best of all situations because there is no God. I haven't done anything. I didn't believe in God, and there is no God, no consequence. On the other hand, he says, if I believe there is no God, and when I die and discover there is God, then I will be in deep shit. I will burn in hell. Catastrophic consequence. Therefore, using the minimax algorithm, the minimax solution, which says, in the face of uncertainty, between two choices, what do? You choose the choice that minimizes the maximum losses. You select the option that minimizes the maximum losses. You know what is minimax? Mini squared, max squared, minimax. The choice between choices when you face uncertainty, you choose the option that minimizes the maximum losses. In this case, when are the maximum losses? If you believe there is God and turn out there is no God, or you believe there is no God and turn out that there is God. That's it, right? If you believe, you live your life as if there is no God. And then you discover there is God, you said you are deep shit. That's huge, it's catastrophic, you burn in hell. So, what I choose the option that minimizes maximum losses. What is the option that minimizes maximum losses? You believe in God. If you believe in God, you ensure that you don't burn in hell.
It was a consequentialist.
Was he a consequentialist or non-consequentialist?
Consequential.
It's consequentialist. Consequentialist. Yeah.
It's both. Was the options are non-physical, non-tangible. So for me, that's an ideology which is non-consequentialist.
No. Has nothing to do with the ideology. The thing is, to make a choice, you consider the consequences. You are a consequentialist. End of the story. It doesn't have to do anything with religion or with anything else. It has to do with the fact that in deciding, when you don't know the consequences of something, okay, it tells you choose that option that minimizes the maximum losses. Okay? What are the losses? The consequences. So consequential. What does the church tell us? We should believe in God. Why? No. We are told we should believe to God because that's the right thing to do, right? Πίστευε και μία έρευνα και λοιπά και λοιπά.
Έτσι.
John's Gospel.
Πίστευε και μη, κόμμα έρευνα.
John's Gospel says a different story.
Anyway, the point is that religion, even though the priest tried to scare us with hell and church, the religion teaches that you should believe in God because it's the right thing to do. So the religion is consequentialist. The religion is a non-consequentialist, it's ontological, while Pascal was a consequential. I give you another example. You are, when is the exam discourse? Is the 9th, okay, we'll have to change it. We will change it, I'm just looking for it. On the 3rd of November, is the night of the 3rd of November. You haven't studied for your ethics class. You are up in your apartment in the 3rd floor, right? You open your notes, your readings, the mood on and say, this professor is so unreasonable. How can he ask us to read so many things? right? You haven't read anything yet, you are desperate, you have a headache, and you have to prepare. So you sit in your balcony and you try, and there is a beggar, beggar, the pianos, passing, beggar, begging, passing from the road, you're on the third floor, and he's begging for food, and he's screaming that he's dying for starvation and to help him and so on. But you are so upset about all the work you have to do, you are not in mood to help anybody. But this guy keeps screaming, keeps talking. So what do? You look around, get away from here. No, he's still there. You see there's a loaf of bread there, you grab it and say, I show you. And try to help him, right? But because this guy is better times, he was a goalie in a first class team, he jumps and grabs the bread. And you save his life. Actually, you save his life in that way. Now let's judge your action based on the two theories. Based on the consequentialist theory. Was your action ethical or unethical?
From the consequences.
What are the consequences? You save a man's life. Ethical. Let's judge it. No, someone may say, how come? But your intention was to kill him, to kill him. Doesn't matter. The motivations, whatever, doesn't matter. The only thing that counts is the consequences, the results. The results is you save his life. End of the story. Now let's look at it from the point of view of consequential, the non-consequentials. A non-consequentialist will say your action was highly unethical. Why? Because your motivation was to kill this man. You're doing the wrong thing for the wrong reason. Okay. But a consequentialist will protest, but I saved his life. Push it. Doesn't matter. What matters is that your intention. The consequence doesn't matter. You see, two completely different perspectives. Well, you wrote the exam, days have passed, weeks have passed. Anyway, the professor finally graded the exams. You thought that you did okay, not that great. So your friend calls you up and tells you that, have you seen the grades in ethics? No, you haven't. You go into the intranet, you check. Lo and behold, you got A+, right? You are so excited, so happy. You invite a few people over in the evening, have a few drinks. Also, you buy a cake, you celebrate. The same beggar is on the street, again, begging. But now your cup is full of flowers. You are happy. Okay, so you go, you say, okay, you go cut a piece of cake and you say to him, okay, take it. You throw it from there. He goes backwards to take it, you miss the beat, he missed, go backwards, falls back, hit his head. He's dead. Now, let's judge your actions. A consequentialist will say what? Your action was highly unethical. Look at the results, you killed the man. Right? But you can protest, you can say, but my intentions were good. The way to hell is paved with good intentions. Look at the results. While a non-consequentialist, the ontological person will say, congratulations, you did the right thing. And if anybody protests that, but the man is dead, says, the consequences don't matter. What matters is the motivation. You understand now the difference between the two approaches? Sometimes they lead to the same result. Sometimes they lead to the opposite result.
Yes, but in the case with the train again. Your intention.
I think that you let us not see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's the light of the incoming train. Anyway, you let us, yes.
your intention was to save the 5 instead of, your intention was to minimize the losses. So you put the river.
Okay?
Yes, but non-consequentialist, they will not see your intention.
Yes.
No,
The consequentialist will judge it by the result.
Yes, although your
No.
intention was good, they will see that one man was killed.
No. The net result. You look at the net consequence. The non-consequent, to judge you as a non-consequentialist, you have to know your values. What is your values and why you did it? Okay, if you say my value is to save as many lives as possible, that's your value. It's not a consequentialist, but that's your value. So you did it to save as many lives as possible. Okay, you did the right thing. It depends what are your values, whether you do the right thing for the right reason. Okay. Now, yes.
So a non-consequentialist will can do both, either full or not full, depending on his value. A consequentialist would only go for the one.
Okay, what are these theories? These theories are, okay? Let's consider these ones first. Ethical egoism, what it says. Ethical egoism says, consider the consequences and choose the action with the highest net consequences. Consequences to who? All of these consider the consequences to the stakeholders, the people involved, Greek emblekomeni, the people involved, right? Remember we talk about in the case of the accident, who are the people involved and so on. Yourself, the driver, the parents of the kid, other kids, the society, okay? So when we look at the consequences, consequentialist, by the way, is the mother from here, actually here down, comes the cost-benefit analysis. Basically, consider the costs and the benefits, the positive and the negative consequences to the different stakeholders. You sum them up and you get the net effect. What is the difference between this and this? In this thing it says there is only one stakeholder. Ο εις και μόνος. Only one. Who? Who?
Me.
The decision maker. That's it. Okay? Do what is best for you. Do what is best for you, but for your long-term self-interest. It's important. Your own long-term, not short-term, long-term, best self-interest. It has to be the best, it has to be long-term. No constraints. You want to steal? Steal. As long as you are not caught. Not now, not in the future. Okay? If Mr. Mihailidis, who has been arrested for some kind of a 10 million kickbacks, if he lasted another 5-10 years and he was not caught and he went to the next life, he could have, this theory was said he acted morally, ethically. He served his own best interest. Unfortunately, he was caught now. And he hasn't planned well. The ancient Spartans was to say, to steal is a virtue. To be caught is a vice. Okay? So, if you are going to steal according to this theory, better you are not caught. Now or in the future. Now, There is something we don't like about this theory. Because this theory allows the law of the jungle, allows you to do criminal things as long as you can get away with them. Right? This is the mafia ethics. Okay? It's the mafia ethics, which says if you can get away, if you can protect yourself, and you serve your long-term basis terrorist together. Now, because we don't like this, we like to put some constraints. Because this theory is based on greed, but with no constraints. So we put some constraints. What constraints we put? To come from here to here. We put some rules. We say, yes, it is ethical, the action is ethical, if it serves your long-term best interest, still one stakeholder, as long as you did this within the constraints of the law, of the land, and the rules of competition. You cannot play monopoly, you cannot kill your competitors, and you cannot violate the constitution and the laws of the land. Then you can do anything you want. And this is called the shareholder capitalism. The shareholder capitalism. It says basically the business belongs to the shareholders, the managers are servants of the shareholders, and they should serve their interests. They should maximize shareholder value. What about other stakeholders? What about the employees? The employees don't count. How do we treat the employees? Oh, the employees, it depends. If being nice to Alexander here, I will even shine his shoes. If being nice to Alexander maximizes shareholder value, be nice to him. I will even give him a massage. But if doesn't serve the interest of the shareholders, I kick him and throw him out. Okay? But there is a constraint. I have to do it legally. I have to give him 2 times warning, and then I will throw him out. While in this one, you don't give him any warning. Okay, Alexander, out of the door. No warning. That's the difference. You understand? The difference between ethical egoism and the restricted ethical egoism is that in the restricted ethical egoism we have the laws. We have to obey the laws. Serve the best long-term interest of the number one, the owner and decision maker, the shareholder. The shareholder is the owner. As a manager, you are his agent. But do it legally. Right? Okay, that's the difference. What about the customers? Am I nice to the customers? If it serves the long-term interest of the shareholder, of the owner, of myself, I do it. Otherwise, I don't. Do I protect the environment? Well, if it maximizes shareholder value, I do it. Otherwise, I don't. A shareholder capitalism. Question to you. Under what conditions? Why this could be ethical? How can we call this theory ethical? I'm talking not about the first, the third one, the restricted egoism. What makes it ethical? This theory says you are a producer, maximize profits. But do it legally. And be competitive, don't be a monopoly. If you are a consumer, maximize utility, i.e., use your money, go and buy the most you can buy to maximize the utility of yourself, your family, whatever. I don't care about anybody else, just about yourself. What makes this theory ethical? Because ethics is defined as It's doing the greatest good for the greatest number of people. Doing the greatest good for the greatest number of people. And this theory says, to do the greatest good for the greatest number of people, you should maximize your own profit without concern for anybody else. And if you are a consumer, you should maximize your utility without concern for anybody else. Because this will maximize, will do the greatest good for the greatest number of people, will maximize the common good.
Maybe the theory gives clear rules for each stakeholder.
Yes, who is this theory? Who is the father of this theory? We said it last time. Adam Smith is a theory of the invisible hand. If there are no market failures, if there is competition, okay, serving each maximizing his own good, maximizes the social good. If they are guided by an invisible hand to maximize the social good, you are not justified to look elsewhere. There's an article that is one of your assignments to read, all of you. It's the most classic article in ethics. It's by Milton Friedman. I think you have it also in your readings. It's called "The Only Social Responsibility of the Firm is to Maximize Profits." And this is the theory of the restricted ethical egos, which says if the markets function, if there is competition, and you do it legally, then maximize your own long-term self-interest. And this, without you wanting, it will maximize the social good. Of course, the assumption behind this is that we have well-functioning markets and well-functioning governments. As a businessman, you produce products in competition with other business people. You try to produce the highest quality at the lowest cost, and you pay taxes to the government to take care of the poor, to take care of social problems, and so on. And if the government works perfectly, and the market works perfectly, then this will maximize the social good. Will make the society as happy as possible. In such a world, as a businessman, as a manager, it's unethical for you to drop the ball of maximizing profits to go to do charity, to go to do other social responsibility. Your social responsibility, your only social responsibility is to maximize profits for your business, because this maximizes social welfare, maximizes social good, because by you competing and spending all your time, working time, to maximize profits, that makes you minimize your costs, maximize your quality, be innovative, enterprising, producing the greatest products and services for the people at the lowest cost. And makes you also have enough, the maximum profits, and therefore you may pay also the maximum taxes, and the government, being efficient, takes care of social problems, health problems, education problems, other problems. Therefore, you should not drop the ball and do other things. The government should take care of the poor. It's not your responsibility. You work, you maximize profits, you pay taxes, and the government takes care of social problems. This is the theory, and works perfectly, provided that we have perfect markets and perfect governments. If we look outside, we see that neither is perfect. In fact, they are highly imperfect, both of them. And therefore, maximizing your profits or maximizing your utility, your satisfaction of your family, it doesn't result in maximum benefit for society. You might be producing too much pollution and poisoning people, because the pollution is a market failure. It's a failure of the market. Just right there.
A great example for this is the case with Johnson, who I told earlier.
Explain why.
Because he didn't go after the profits. He want to do right for the loss of lives his company did, and the results were great.
Yeah, but this is exactly the opposite. In this case, the result is the opposite. In this case, is the next theory. In this case, what he's saying is that Johnson & Johnson look at the social good first, and the social good at the end became also to max as a result of that, right? Of different packaging and the fact that he treated right the people who are affected, and then it maximized his profits. But that's the opposite. What I say, this theory says that if you pursue your own self-interest, right, that maximizes the social interest, right? Yeah. Actually, this would have said Johnson & Johnson should have done nothing. It was an accident. He paid the government. It was the responsibility of the government to make sure that it regulated the packaging of medicines, so this didn't happen. But because the government failed to do that, that's the reason the company took care of the problem. Because of this problem, remember, both these companies consider only one stakeholder, the shareholder. Okay? They are consequentialist. They determine whether an action is ethical or not based on the consequences. Okay? And they decide that an action, the moral action, is the one who produces the highest net positive consequences, but for whom? For the one, the shareholder. And this is wrong. This is the mafia ethics. We don't accept this. But this one we accept it, provided that the invisible hand of the market works. Provided that we have perfectly functioning markets and perfectly functioning governments, which we don't have. And therefore, there is a need to consider the other stakeholders as well, not just as instruments of shareholder maximization, but also for their own intrinsic value. And this brings us to utilitarianism. And utilitarianism says what? How do you determine an action? How do you choose the moral action? How do you determine some decision is ethical? It says you do the following. First, you ask yourself, what are your choices? For example, in the case of the accident with the car, or in the case of the train, what are the choices? What are the choices? Put the lever or not put the lever? Tell that your friend has been speeding or not speeding. The choice. Second, identify who are the stakeholders. Yourself, your friend, the parents of the kids, other kids, and so on and so forth. Okay? Then, take each choice you have, for example, to tell, and then see what will be the consequences on each of the stakeholders. If you tell that your friend has been speeding, what will be the consequence on you? On the one hand, you feel good that you gave justice to the boy and protected other children. On the other hand, you will feel that you haven't been the best friend, or you have been honest, or you haven't been a good friend. What will be the effect of telling on your friend? You'll be sending your friend your friend will be going for 10 years to jail. What will be the effect of the parents of the kid? The parents of the kid will feel that justice was done. What about the effect of telling on other kids? The effect of telling that your friend has been speeding on other kids would be that we will have safer streets for the kids. Okay? These are the consequences. What about the consequences of the alternative? Of lying. Of saying that your friend was not speeding. The effect on you would be what? You feel you protect your friend, or you feel bad because you haven't given justice to the boy, you haven't protected other children, you feel that you're a liar, you have nightmares. What would be the effect on your friend? Your friend will get free, you will not end up in jail. What will be the impact of the parents? The parents will feel that they haven't received justice. What will be the effect on other children? Will be that they are unsafe. Your friend might cause another sad accident. And so now weigh and see which has the highest net benefit. Positive benefit minus negative benefit for each stakeholder of each option. And choose that option, tell or not tell, which has the highest net positive or the lowest net negative consequences. You see here, we consider all the stakeholders, not just the decision maker, as in the other theories, but we consider everyone. This is called utilitarianism. And this is the mother of cost-benefit analysis. Because I teach another course when we activate this program, cost-benefit analysis, it comes out of this utilitarianism. Cost-benefit analysis considers the cost and the benefits of different actions, or different projects to decide what project to do, where to invest, private projects and public projects. Okay. So these are the consequentialist theories. What you have to remember is that they are theories that judge the morality of actions, the morality of decisions, based on the consequences, on weighing the consequences of the different choices on the stakeholders involved. In the ethical egoism, the restricted ethical egoism, the only stakeholder is one, the shareholder. All the others are just instruments, like the desks, like the machines. While in the case of the utilitarianism, you say we take into account all the stakeholders. Of course, the shareholder is the number one, but all the others also count. So we maximize shareholder value while balancing the interest of all the other groups. Sometimes we may have to achieve less shareholder value in order to make sure to satisfy, not to lay off people. If we have a choice, treating our customers better. For example, think of the case of the Nordstrom. By the way, I spell Nordstrom. Is N-R-D. N-O-R-D. N-O-R-D. Nordstrom, sorry. Mistake. Nordstrom. Okay? In the case of Nordstrom, if the person wanted to say, of course, what he did by giving the 200, he gave the $200 to the lady.
He minimized his.
So maybe in the short term the company lost some money, but in the long term the company made more money. Okay, so it doesn't mean if you take the other stakeholders into account, you are going to lose money. You may sacrifice a little in the short term, like the case of the Lexus. The person went around with his car, found different shops, found the box, went, applied, he lost 2-3 hours. And did it for free. So Lexus have lost something short run. But long run, it gained a lot. So it doesn't mean that if you take care of the other stakeholders, you are not going to benefit in the long run. And there is, because I like to tell you good books to read as well, I tell you a little story and the book to read, which is quite interesting. Do you know who Richard Branson is? Yes. Richard Branson is the owner of, the founder and owner of Virgin Airways and 300 other companies that called Virgin. He has more than 20 or 30 billion dollars wealth. Richard Branson doesn't know how to read or write, barely. He quit school when he was 16 because he was dyslexic. He started his first business when he was 11, a business that failed disastrously. He had this fine idea to plant Christmas trees in January to harvest them in December for Christmas. I don't know, he didn't know how to take care of them, and all of them died. He quit school at 16, but he did a business out for schools. He created the first student magazine in Britain. And he made money out of it, even though himself he quit school. Anyway, Richard Branson one time he was in Australia in a conference, and he met this, I think in Australia, if I remember the story correctly, and he met this guy. The story is being told by the other guy, but I had the chance to ask Richard Branson myself whether the story is true, and it is true. I was told it's true. Now, Richard Branson met this guy, Kawasaki, Kawasaki, K-A-W-A-S-I-A-K. You know him? No. What? He met Guy Kawasaki in Australia, somewhere, and he asked Guy Kawasaki, what airline do you come to Australia? And he said, I came with American Airlines. He says to him, don't you fly Virgin? He says, no. Why is it? I fly American because they treat me like royalty. I have a frequent flyer, they upgrade me, they give me free this, free that. And so Richard Branson, upon that, it was one of the rare occasions that Richard Branson ever wears a tie. Usually doesn't wear a tie, but he was wearing a tie in this case. So Richard Branson, in his suit and tie, kneeled down on the ground and used his tie to shine the shoes of Kawasaki. And then he told him, does American Airlines do this to you? Does the CEO of American Airlines do this to you? Kawasaki says, no. And then he says, you have to fly Virgin. And Kawasaki says in his book, since then, he switched to Virgin. The book of Kawasaki, which I recommend to all of you, is called, and you can find it in your, it's called Enchantment. Enchantment. A great book. Enchantment. N-C-H-A, Enchantment. And the name is Guy Kawasaki. You found it? Anybody found it?
The art of changing hearts, minds, and actions.
Say it again, loud.
The art of changing hearts, minds, and actions.
The art of changing hearts, minds, and actions. How can you change people's minds, hearts, and actions? Very nice book, interesting to read. Now, 2 years ago, I happened to be in Cancun, in 2010 actually, for the meetings of for the climate change. And when I pressed the button at the 40th floor, whatever, of the hotel, the door opened, and who was it? Richard Branson. He was in the same conference and was going down for the dinner. So I said hello and so on, and we started chatting. And of course I remember him. I told him when he came to Cyprus, he had his 50th birthday at Anasa Hotel here. He came with his helicopter. Anyway, and we talk about Cyprus and I asked him about this event as well. And he confirmed to me that indeed this event happened with Kawasaki. Why I tell you this event? I tell you this event for the following purpose, is that you may say that he used Kawasaki instrumentally because he wanted to get him as a customer. But the point here is you have to consider the other stakeholders. The biggest mistake we make in politics, in business, in social life, we think also of some of the stakeholders and not others. And that is when we fail. When we forget some of the stakeholders. Think of marine, think of the economy, think of the stock exchange problems. Think of any problem that we ever had. Think of 1974. All these events, all these disasters happen because we choose to consider some stakeholders and not consider other stakeholders. Consider the Cyprus problem. Why the Cyprus problem will not be solved? And it will not be solved in 1,000 years unless we consider all the stakeholders involved. I don't know if any of you will do negotiation, the course of negotiation skills. Huh? You did it. It's important to see the things from other people's view, right? Perfect lesson. So I recommend to all of you to take the course of negotiation. I don't teach it, but in negotiation course, you see things also from the perspective of other people. What other people want to get, not only what you want to get. And only then you are able to get a better deal for yourself if you consider also what others want. But if you don't, at the end you end up with a worse solution. Okay? So, from all those theories, the theory you should be using in the real world, even though in theory the restricted ego should work, in practice it doesn't, and you should be using the utilitarianism, i.e. consider the effect, the utility of all of your choices on all the stakeholders, positive and negative. Sum them up and select a choice with the maximum net positive consequences or the minimum net negative consequences. Okay? That's it. So, when do we have the next lecture? Monday. I wanted to ask you something, and now I seem to. The cases we have them, you are going to bring them. You don't even need to bring them down. You bring them with you. We have the course on Monday. But I wanted to ask. I asked you what you do. I know. I asked you to read the article by Milton Friedman. You have it, right? Milton Friedman. The only responsibility of the firm. You don't have it?
9.
You have it. Number 9. Okay? Let me see. No one should take ethics at an MBA level without reading that. Let's see what I should have. Okay. This article. Okay? This article is basically the description of the restricted egoism. Okay? But it's a classic article in ethics. I don't believe